Hello there, welcome. Michael Krug here, board certified health coach, and today I have Dustin, who is a graduate of the Inspired Wellbeing program. Thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure working together, and I just want to ask him some questions about his experience. So first and foremost, what was your life, your body, what were things like before being a part of the Inspired Wellbeing program?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, before I did the Inspire Wellbeing program, I was kind of in a rut, was starting to gain some weight that I hadn't normally, had on my body, and starting to get a little self-conscious, a little bit, I guess, insecure, and feeling, not as confident as I usually am out in the world. And that's what kind of inspired me to kind of join the program and try to get some guidance in finding a direction of consistency and allowing myself kind of to be vulnerable a little bit with other people that might be within the program as well.
Yeah, definitely looking for some physical changes, I know. You had mentioned too, just some mental health type changes as well. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's one thing for me I know that works is, moving my body and being able to kind of have that alone time to kind of compel those emotions and figure out those thoughts was a huge game changer for me to kind of keep moving forward and allow myself to be the healthiest version of myself. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, so building off of that, what would you say, how did the program impact you? What were the biggest benefits you saw?
Yeah, I mean, at first it started off slow. I was trying to find that consistency again and being, working with Michael and his patients and kind of just motivating and finding those little things that you can build off, whether it's understanding nutrition and starting with a diet, or having a program that I could at least, start consistently going and working out with was huge. I mean, not having the information at the end of the day was kind of what was holding me back. And once I started getting more information to build those habits, I think was super beneficial, joining the program.
Absolutely. The education, the accountability, and support along the way. And then like you mentioned too, the community piece is always a lot of fun. Those group calls are great.
Yeah, I mean, the group calls, were one of the first things that really kept me coming back. You'd have those days where you'd kind of cheat yourself and then you'd get back to the group call and it'd kind of hold you accountable to say, this week I'm going to come back, and next week when I join the group, I'm going to have something good to say or some positive changes. And once you kind of start spiraling into that, it was really a game changer when it came to the consistency portion of it.
For sure, absolutely. What would you say, tangible results? So any big changes that you noticed for yourself?
Yeah, for me, it started off with really just the diet. I mean, the diet was one of the most important things I think I really even took from it. I mean, coming from a background of athleticism and being able to, know how to work out, but not really practicing the workout. So just getting that consistency under my belt, but then really taking nutrition on and, looking at the things that I'm eating and understanding what it's actually doing to my body. And then finally starting to see some results. Then after you start seeing those results, I think that was when I really kind of dove in and said, what, this is time to take this serious, especially, again, going back to group calls and things like that. It was something I took pride in knowing that I held myself accountable for that week and actually, utilize some of the educational information and put it into practice. So.
Absolutely. You mentioned obviously the nutrition piece and being able to find some more sustainable and just different types of approaches and making sure that you're eating certain nutrients, kind of cutting out some junk food as well, which definitely helps.
Yeah, and just understand, and just looking at ingredients lists. I mean, I think that was a huge part of understanding of, if you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it. And, Michael did a great job of kind of simplifying it for people like me that didn't really ever consider that and understood that a banana was a banana, but then a banana bread in a banana isn't as nutritious as it is, just eating the thing itself.
For sure, yeah. You mentioned the word results a couple times, so curious, in your own words, what were the biggest results and things that you noticed by completing the program?
Yeah, by completing the program, by the end of it, I ended up losing about 50 pounds. That was a huge, milestone for me. Not that that was the most important thing. The most important thing for me was the mental aspect of it that really opened my mind and held my, holding yourself accountable and really kind of digging deep into who you are and how, the type of person that you are allowed me to kind of be back to where I thought I was supposed to be and not just, thinking about it, but actually doing it. But the results are, intangible when it comes to the actual number. But seeing the results was definitely a motivator. At the end of the day, I think that was something that definitely, influenced me to want to keep going. And then maintaining was the other part, is not getting down on yourself when you kind of get in that rut again a little bit and picking yourself back up in the program definitely allowed me to regain that confidence and be able to continue on that journey of understanding that it's not going to be a linear progress. It's going to be an up and down regardless of the results.
For sure. Yeah, you mentioned the weight loss, but even deeper than that, the confidence, the knowing that you'll be able to sustain these things long term, and just ultimately living your healthiest self, right? I think a lot of times people get focused on the weight loss and they recognize like, yeah, that's great, and the aesthetic and body changes are great, but there's way more to it than just that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even graduating from the program, it's not to say that, you didn't gain a little bit. I mean, that's a natural kind of aspect of, I think, weight loss and weight gain and things like that. But just keeping that healthy mentality and the habits that were created and formed through the program really kind of gave me that catapult into being a sustainable person when it comes to my health.
Absolutely. Love it, man. Last question. What would you tell someone who's maybe on the fence about joining the program?
If you're on the fence about joining the program, one thing I would say is just dive in. I mean, a lot of people kind of think it's not for them, or they might, especially someone like me who was an athlete, in high school and different things like that, thinking, I can do it myself. Just to allow yourself that vulnerability to understand that, there's a community out there that's willing to help and willing to listen and willing to kind of work with you, because there's going to be those times no matter what you do that you're going to be working by yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, Michael's program, helped guide me, but at the end of the day, I was the one that did the work, and the time that I spent by myself in order to change myself and change my body. Without it, I was on the fence myself, and me and Michael went back and forth, and he, didn't give me the huge hard sales pitch, but at the end of the day, it was something I needed. I needed a tool, and this is a great tool to at least get you into the right direction of creating healthy habits, understanding the education of nutrition, and then, allowing yourself to kind of create those habits to make them sustainable. So.
Love it, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for sharing your story.
Absolutely, Mike.
Absolutely. Yeah. Much love, man. Thanks if you're watching. As always, keep inspiring. Thanks a bunch.